your horse is speeding up without you asking. The problem is engagement. That's why just pulling back don't fix the problem, because just pulling back, you're not engaging the back end, so the horse just falls back on his front end again. So you ever have a horse that speeds up when you don't really ask? Sometimes it happens when you're trotting and your horse just kind of continually feels like it's getting faster and faster. And sometimes when you're loping, your horse just gradually accelerates just a little bit more, a little bit more, and a little bit more. The worst thing you can do is pull back and slow the horse down. That'll slow them down for the moment, but that's not going to fix the reason that they're accelerating to begin with. And that's what we're going to talk about now, is how to fix a horse that's accelerating, that's speeding up when you don't want him to. So if you've ever ridden trail riding out, going up and down hills, a horse naturally speeds up when he's going downhill. What's happening there is the horse's weight is getting on his front end, his back end is higher than his front end, weight's getting on the front end, and basically he feels like he's being pushed down that hill, so he starts going faster. Pretty typical. Basically, when your horse is speeding up, when you're not asking, structurally with the horse, that's what's happening, even though you're not going downhill. The horse gets his back inverted, gets more weight on his front end, puts the front end down, there's less weight on the back end starts traveling a little bit bigger, and even on flat ground, he feels like he's going downhill. And that typically is what causes horses to speed up when you're not asking. So I'm going to talk today about how you can fix that. Not just get the horse to slow down, but to get the horse fixed so that he's not speeding up on his own. What you're going to need to do, you're going to need to be able to tell that horse to lift his shoulders and engage his back end. Basically, he feels like he's going this way, you need to get him back level. So to get that horse back level, so that the horse feels like he's level, what we're going to do is we're going to lift your hands, lift the reins, and that's going to lift that horse up. You're not pulling back, we're not slowing down, we're lifting. And in the process of lifting, that's going to lift the horse up, lift the front end up, get the back end down. Now your horse may not break at the pole and do what he's doing, but what that is going to do, that is going to still lift your horse's front end. The break at the pole is not necessary to accomplish this. So let's get this horse up to a trot. I don't know if you can tell or not, but my arena slopes this direction. This end of the arena is lower than the other end. So all the horses that I'm riding kind of naturally learn how to balance themselves on their back end with me helping them pick their front end up. So right now we're going downhill. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lift. That lifts the shoulders, engages this back end. That actually shortens the stride just a little bit. If you're working ranch riding and you're working on lengthening stride for an extended gait and shortening stride, it's a similar exercise, it's a similar movement. So to shorten his stride, rock him on the back end, I lift. I'm also squeezing a little bit with my legs. Feel as soon as I will come around, we'll do that again. Watch what he does when I lift and squeeze, but also watch what he does immediately when I release. Lift, squeeze, shorten the stride. Now watch what he does when I release. See how his stride got longer? He actually kind of went back on his front end a little bit. This is the horse that's pole resistant. He naturally gets on his front end. So when I released, he kind of fell back on his front end and he sped back up. Let's do it again. Lift, shorten the stride, and release. He actually relaxed down. That's what you want right there, so that he'll come on and shorten his stride and come back down. Let's do it one more time. Instead of falling on his front end and speeding up again, he actually said, okay, I'll go ahead and shorten, slow down to a slower gait, and release. That was better. He didn't fall on his front end that time. I'll go ahead and bring it up to the lope, and we'll work at some of the lope. So we'll lope, and I'll show you what that looks like at a lope. I'll come around, I'll do it the same right here, but while I'm coming around, watch his gait. This horse kind of falls on his front end anyways. He's not really speeding up, but I have a similar problem. See how he's kind of raising his head? I'm gonna come around again. He's raising his head to get his back engaged because he's not round enough. He's on his front end. So let's lift, squeeze. Oh, he's kind of resistant there. Keep going. Lift, there we go, and release. I felt him relax with his weight shifted back on his back end. We'll come around, we'll do it. Lift, there, I felt a big change there, and ride forward, good. That was a lot better. All right, so we're going to do the other lead. Anytime you're working something in the lope, you're working in one lead, you need to work it in the other lead. A lot of times you'll find out one lead needs more work than the other. So let's see what we got. This lead. He actually feels heavy on this left shoulder than he did on the right shoulder in the other lead. Let's see what we get. Lift, lift. Resistant to this side too. He's not wanting to pick his shoulders up. There we go. There we go. Let's get back soft. Do that again, and I'm going to talk about how I pulled my hands. You notice I pull one hand one direction, the other hand the other direction. When they're falling, speeding up, going downhill, when they're speeding up, and you're at a lope, it's typically the inside shoulder. Whichever lead you're in, it's that shoulder that's falling. So that's why I went to picking up with that hand. I made contact with the outside hand just because I didn't want to pull his head around like that. I wanted to generally keep him straight. So I made contact with the outside rein to keep him generally straight. We got a little bit of a bend for the arc of the circle we're going in. He feels like he's learning what we're talking about, because when I pick his shoulders up, he's actually wanting to slow down. Have to send him forward and engage that back in. Part of getting the shoulders lifted is you have to engage the back. Seems real odd that when your horse is speeding up without you asking, the problem is engagement. But that actually is it. You need that horse to engage his back end and lift his shoulders. That's why just pulling back don't fix the problem, because with just pulling back, you're not engaging the back end, so the horse just falls back on his front end again. There we go. That was better. I feel him getting nice. Just ask with one hand next time. And lift. There we go. I felt a good shortening of stride there. So let's come around and ask with one hand. and lift. There. I felt a good lift in the shoulders and shortening of stride with just a little bit of lift. Whoa. So that's a good exercise to help you with a horse that is speeding up when you're at a trotting or lope. Lift the shoulders and engage the back end. It's going to take some repetition. You're not going to get it the first time. But when you build these muscles up right here to support the shoulders, to get the shoulders up, get the back end engaged, your horse will quit speeding up. If you have any more questions about speed control and steering and stopping, I'll put a link to a video up here. Until next time, thank you for watching.